there are many different routes that your life can take. And I was watching a podcast this morning, and there was this phrase that a chap that was hosting it said that maybe I'm idealistic. And I'm really fascinated with the origin, the etymology, the meaning of words, where they actually come from, what they really mean. And if you look at the word idealistic, well, it's an ideal way of living life. And the truth is that a lot of people will very simply sacrifice being happy with being right. And there's a lot of question about debate, how worthwhile really is debate. But it doesn't really, because like on one hand this and the other hand that, and let's find somewhere in the middle. And the thing is, the truth isn't somewhere in the middle. The truth is just the truth. Facts are facts. We're having a hard time in the current reality of dealing with agreeing on what facts actually are. People have their own definitions and your truth and all this kind of nonsense. But I think it goes a lot deeper than that if you can go into conversations without the need to be right, to always prove that somebody else is wrong, well, through discussion you can actually arrive at the truth in what works and what promotes. Because the truth isn't just about deciding facts, it's about establishing harmony so that we can actually agree on things. And the truth is actually about peacefulness, because we think that war happens purely because of governments. But the truth is, we have to take the responsibility for ourselves to realize that war starts with us. It starts with you, it starts with me, it starts with everybody. It starts with everybody. War exists in the human mind. And I don't think that there is anybody greater than yourself that you're at war with. Because it's hard to establish what's true, what's objective, what actually promotes harmony and peace in the world. So I've said this so many times, but you do have to start with yourself. And it's not a surprise when you go on a voyage of self-discovery and personal development and you're saying, I want to help loads of other people. It isn't long before you realise, and I've certainly realised it for myself, that oh my God, I actually have, I do have an enormous ego when it comes to quite a lot of things. I've been talking a lot about creating drama in my life and sort of getting stiff on it, getting excited by it. It's not healthy, but it's a reality. And life is, establishing ideals and principles and values. It's a massive undertaking for anybody, and it's not really actually about the state that you're in. It's never really the what, it's the how you do things. And when you realize that you have an emotional or psychological or spiritual blind spot, it's actually about holding up your hands and saying, okay, mea culpa, I am guilty, Lord have mercy on my soul. It's humbling. And it's why I think most people keep coming back to this idea as well, that people don't want to admit that they're wrong or they're mistaken or that they don't know something. But today, you see these beautiful surroundings in the private gardens of Chatsworth. This is the bit that I get to enjoy a lot because I'm a member here, despite the fact that the Cavendish family's symbol is a snake, So, and the current Duchess is a massive admirer of modern art. I think she's kind of a London urbanite who's a kind of infiltrator, which a lot of these aristocratic families are. But judgmental. You see, we have these ideas in our heads all the time, and I'm gay, and I've been watching a lot of religious stuff, and I actually pray every day, and I find that my day is better when I pray, particularly when I pray twice a day, in the morning when I first get up, and in the evening immediately before I go to bed, because we can't make gods of ourselves. We have to be open to listening to other people, to listening to different viewpoints, and acknowledging that even if we completely disagree with or oppose a particular worldview, well, we have to acknowledge that there has to be a certain amount of value in it, or truth in it, if it has perpetuated for so long. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's wholesome or constructive, but it can point you towards fundamental truths about human nature and why people behave in the way that they do. And there are many tenets in the Christian doctrine that say, "Forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do." Most people don't reason themselves into the positions that they're in. They'll usually have emotional reasons for behaving in a particular way. People suffer a huge amount of trauma in their life, I found a new podcast recently, and I actually know one of the hosts from something else that he does. He's called Joe Santagato, and he's done loads of really funny stuff on his other YouTube channels, particularly games and things that he's played with his brother and the rest of his family. But he hosts a podcast with this other guy called Other People's Lives, and there's some really kind of far out stories, and you kind of think, are these concocted? Are these real? But I find it all really, really fascinating. And there are some times that the way that they respond to these stories is just kind of, I just think, well, it makes me, I feel that's really judgmental. And I said, well, yes, Martin, but you're being a judgmental twat as well, because you're judging him, So I think the conclusion that I came to in my blog post this morning that inspired obviously this video, that's how I do this, is that, well, why not try? And the ego will hate this. The ego will torture you with this. But why not go into everything fresh? Or at least try to go into everything fresh and have a laugh and be curious and be open. Because I find myself, it's a bit of a weird situation with me. I find myself sort of politically, and the political divide is a little bit of a, it's an illusion. But, just kind of, I've got certain lefty things I have to admit, artistic, entrepreneurial soul. Also got incredibly conservative ideas. I see the value in lots of different things that seemingly contradict each other. But if you're working towards the truth, well, you have to accept that all of these different things that you agree or disagree or open to or closed to, they're all part of the fabric. And we have to deal with them, we have to deal with people. I say we have to deal with people. It's good to be able to deal with people in a healthy way. And this idea of freshness is something that I'm going to explore, actually, and see how I can make my life more peaceful. So think about it. Have a good think about it, of going into every conversation as if you're a child, that childlike curiosity. Try going into every conversation with that, because children aren't really that judgmental. They're very open, but they're also sensible. And we're talking about etymology, sensible, senses, listen, look, smell, breathe, Start to open yourself up. Don't close yourself down. Be as fresh and as vibrant and as open as you can possibly be. So thank you very much for listening. Do the like and subscribe thing, and keep watching this channel for more valuable videos. Ciao for now.